So hello everyone and good afternoon. Thank you for being with us today to participate in this webinar organized by eTwinning Europe. My name is Marta and I'm very happy to support this webinar together with my colleague Eleonora today. Today's focus will be well-being, and in particular will we address the question, can happiness be learned? In this seminar, we will explore what psychology teaches us about how to be happier, less stressed, and how to build habits that will enable us to live a happier life. Our expert today is Cornelia Lojanova. She's a teacher of hotel management, tourism, business, and economy at Hotel Academy in Bratislava, Slovakia. Cornelia is also an ambassador of eTwinning and a moderator of an eTwinning Future group. Her curriculum utilizes extracurricular activities and international projects as a means of engaging students in the classroom. Cornelia is also author of award-winning projects and online and on-site professional development courses. She speaks at conferences and leads workshops and webinars for educators. She is also a Microsoft Innovative Educator Fellow. So this is our agenda for today and some practical information for you. This webinar will be recorded and the recording will be available on the YouTube channel of eTwinning. If you have questions, please post them in the chat and we will have a Q&A session at the end to address all of them. But without further ado, Cornelia, if you are ready, I'm happy to give you the floor. And you can start your presentation.
Yes, thank you. Hello. Okay, so the question is, can happiness be learned? And we know people who just wake up in the morning and they are happy. And then we know people that whatever good life they have, they are complaining. So why some people continue to be happy in the face of adversity and others are chronically unhappy at the best of times? And this question, it's interesting because it's really like a key interest in positive psychology. And what is positive psychology? You can see this gentleman, his name is Martin Seligman, and he's the father of this approach, positive psychology. So this approach, psychologists, they study thoughts and feelings and behavior with focus on strengths, not weaknesses. So they focus on building the good in life instead of repairing the bad like they used to do before. And also they want to take like the lives of people up to grade instead of focusing on moving to the norm of those who somehow struggle. And we know that almost every culture, it is somehow natural that people pursue happiness. And it's happiness is regarded like one of the most valued goals in life. And that's why we are going to focus also on happiness today. And I have a friend, he's a psychologist. He invented a new word. And the word is happitarian. And the question is, what happitarian does? So what do you think? And he came to this word or to this idea of happitarian when he was thinking of vegetarian. So like vegetarians who choose what to eat and what to avoid so that they are healthy, the happitarians choose what to do and what to avoid so that they are happy. So now we are going to somehow study or explore how to be happitarians. And happiness, it seems that it's like becomes the metric of the future. And for example, New Zealand maybe you heard it, that they announced that its budget will report on how national spending impacts on well-being. And every 3 years since 2012, the United Nations World Happiness Report releases global rankings of happiness. And this is based on a survey, and the survey asked people to evaluate how they feel about their life. They have a scale from 0 to 10. And then the Gallup Institute divides its surveys on happiness into 5 categories. So they are social relationships, sense of purpose, physical health, financial well-being, and community engagement. And they also ask questions about daily positive and negative experiences. And so as you can see, this annual United Nations World Happiness Report for 2020 edition, it shows that Finland is number 1. Once again, because it's for the 3rd year in a row. And really many nations now, they have begun to compete in global happiness rankings, and they plan policy according to the statistics of well-being. But the question is what well-being is. And many well-being researchers identify, oh no, not like this, happiness with subjective well-being. And we have here Dr. Diener, who developed a model of subjective well-being. And there are 3 components of well-being, according to him. Frequent positive effect, infrequent negative effect. So it means how many positive and negative experiences we have. And then also, so it is like emotional side. And then there is also cognitive evaluation, such as life satisfaction. Of course, it doesn't mean that we should only have like positive emotions, because there is a very interesting professor of psychology. Her name is Barbara Fredriksson, and she suggests us to have like 3 positive emotions to balance 1 negative. And it doesn't mean that we don't, or we should not have negative emotions, really, because negative emotions are really important. And it is just important for us to keep in mind that for our resilience, for our happiness, it is important to have more positive than negative emotions. And yes, and now maybe time for us to think, I will be happy when. So this was like experiment or big survey done by Sonia Lubomirsky. So she gave this question or this sentence to finish to people to find out what makes them happy, or whether they think that what makes them happy, that there is something. So and she writes that we frequently believe that we are not happy now, but we'll be happy when, yes, you know it, perfect job, a partner, and great job, I don't know, house and car, whatever. But sometimes when we fulfill these goals, it doesn't make us as happy as we expected. And then we feel that there is something wrong with us. And she wrote this just to warn us that sometimes this feeling can lead us to the wrong decisions in our life. So the question is, are we happier when we have a big house, or really find true love, and then we are happy forever, a good job, or we have really, I don't know, lottery, we are millionaire, we have perfect body, whatever? And the answer is no, because there are studies that have shown that these things, sometimes we just think that something makes us happy, but actually not, or not as much as we expect. And maybe I will just talk about the money, that at the beginning, of course, money does make us happy, but there is a threshold. And this threshold exists like to take care of our needs, like basic needs, or better health care, or we need access to clean water, a house, and so on. But once we start earning more than this threshold, and even if we continue to increase our earning, it makes no difference in our happiness. And and also we can talk about all these things that we see. There are many surveys and a lot of research with all this stuff. And the question is, what's going wrong? So we think that something will make us happy and then we are not as much. And sometimes we just think, okay, because it's just genetically set, we can't change it. You know, those people who are just happy in the morning and think, oh, what a beautiful day. And maybe, you know, also people, sometimes we just think, what a day again. So what will I do? So, you know, these, or maybe you know these half full or half empty bottle or whatever. Yes. So, yes, genetically. And then there are other people who think that, okay, what can we do? There are just life circumstances and they matter a lot. And then we have a huge research of Sonia Lubomirsky. And she shows that, yes, in fact, you can see genes and circumstances, yes, they have certain importance, but not as much as we think. And she wrote a very nice book, The How of Happiness. And we have this famous chart. And so, yes, we all have a genetic set point for happiness. It is 50%. But then we have only 10% of happiness that is affected by life circumstances. And then we have this great news. 40% is under our control. And it is important what Sonia Lubomirsky said, that we can work hard to be happier. But our intentional activities have a powerful effect on how happy we are. And the problem is maybe that we seem to be working towards the wrong things sometimes. So why we put maybe our time and effort into things that don't make us as happy as we expect. And then we have two researchers, Sir Wilson and Dan Gilbert at Harvard University, and they came with this term miswanting. The question is, what is it? Yes, it's like act of being mistaken about what and how much you will like something in the future. Our problem is that our brains just deliver us this idea that we want certain things, but we are wrong about it. And why is it? The question is why our mind delivers us these maybe not good, not correct predictions about what we are going to like. And here are the answers. And there are some reasons. Our strong intuition is often wrong. Daniel Kahneman wrote, probably you know it, but it's really excellent book, Thinking Fast and Slow. And he introduced two systems of brain. So we have two kind of systems. Automatic one, it is very fast, it is intuitive. And then we have system 2, that is slow, it requires our attention, our thinking, our focus. And if you look at this picture, you see that the lines are different. And we have this intuition from our visual system, even though they are really the same. Yes, because you know this picture already, then you told yourself, okay, they are the same. But when you look at them, they look different. So this is the way mind works many times. Intuition is fast. Thinking needs energy. And our brain is clever. So he has this shortcut to save energy. And then we have this another reason. We never see in like terms of or think in terms of absolutes. So whenever there is a reference point on the side of anything, we see it differently. So can you see? This orange circle on the right looks bigger than the one on the left, even though they are the same. It depends on the size of the blue circles. And the problem is that our minds are always comparing us, our words, with other reference points and with other people. And the social comparison is the worst. Now, the question, you don't need to answer, just answer in your head maybe. If your colleagues have higher salary, are you happy with your job? According to the researchers, no. So there was research that showed that it really is important to know that you are happy in your job when you know that your colleagues don't earn more than you. And another research shows that more TV we watch, less satisfied we are with what we have. Because TV and social media makes comparisons very easy. And now, what is dangerous? Imagine how social media have really huge impact on young people. There is really big connection between the social media and self-confidence, self-esteem of people. And there was one research, and it revealed that self-esteem was 50% lower after browsing the fake Facebook with rich, successful people who were smiling. And our brain, that is a problem, that our brain constantly gives us the reference points that don't make us happy. And that's why we need to filter. If we know this all, we can better manage in the future and be aware of this miswanting. And then there is another thing that we should know. It's a big influence of hedonic adaptation. Our minds are built to get used to stuff, whether it is good or bad. So imagine you have a new smartphone and you are happy, you discover new features every day, but day by day your enthusiasm goes down. You get used to it. And then we have this last but not least, we don't even realize that our minds are built to get used to stuff. When we strive towards a goal, we expect that when we achieve it, it will have positive impact on our happiness forever. We know this, and they lived happily ever after. Of course not. The reality is unfortunately very different. And so we have wrong predictions. And the question is what to do, how to get out of hedonic adaptation, or what strategies to use to reset expectations, what to do to be happier. There are many resources. My Happytarian friend says that there are more like 30 sources of happiness. So we are going to have a look at some of them. We should not, and that is very important, happiness is not something that we achieve and then it is with us. The happiness is the process. It is not the goal. It is like a side effect of other things we do in our lives. This is a model of psychological well-being. by Professor Carol Reef, and her model is there are many other models, but her model um, uh, is created in a different way. So well-being, according to her, is like multi-dimensional, and it's not about happiness or positive emotions. Good life is balanced as a whole. So it should have these each like 6 different aspects of well-being. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort. We have to work on these 6 areas, and it includes positive and negative experiences, of course. But from the long-term view, they bring our life satisfaction. So let's have a look at them a bit closer. Autonomy. People with high autonomy are independent. They are able to resist social pressure to think and or act in a certain way. They have confidence in their opinions, and they are independent and free. So they don't wait what others will say. And if there are people with low autonomy, so they are concerned about the expectations of others, and they rely on judgments of others to make any decisions. And so, of course, happy people are autonomous people. And then we have this environmental mastery. People with high environmental mastery make they are able to choose or create environments or contexts that are suitable to their needs and values. So they feel they are in charge of the situation in where they live, and they do activities they are good at. They can manage themselves, emotions, regulate themselves, and even develop like good relationships with others. And if we don't have this environmental mastery, so then we have difficulty managing just everyday affairs. We are like unable to change or improve environment, and we just feel like we don't have control over our life. So, and that is of course not good. And then personal growth. Yes, it is very important because people with this strong personal growth, they see themselves as growing and expanding. They are open to new experiences, to challenges. They learn new things and really recognize improvement. So I guess that we all teachers are like that. Personal growth, at least you who are now here, because now you are here to maybe learn something, maybe you are curious, which is great, which is a very important element of this personal growth. And then people with weak personal growth have a sense of like personal stagnation. You know such people like they are bored and uninterested with life, and maybe they are unable like to develop maybe new attitudes. So they don't go for challenges. You know, this like active approach to life is missing. And then positive relationships. It's really important because if we have these positive relations with others, we have trusting or satisfying relationships. We are concerned about the welfare of others. We have like empathy for others. We are giving persons and respect others and are respected by others, then we are happy. And people who have like these weak relations, for them it's difficult to be open, to be concerned about others, and they feel isolated, frustrated, and sometimes even not willing to make any compromises. And of course, they are not happy. Purpose in life. Yes, if we have a purpose, we have goals, we have positive impact on others. We do things that are important, that are good for others. So this is the quote of my of Will Smith's well-known actor. I like this very much, so that's why I put it here. And then we have self-acceptance. And people who have this high self-acceptance, they have like positive attitude toward themselves. They like most aspects of their personality. They, of course, know that they have weaknesses, but they accept them and they know their strengths. And that's why they have self-confidence. And many people, we know that they just are not happy, they don't accept themselves, they feel maybe dissatisfied or disappointed, maybe even with their past life. It happens quite often in the teenage age. And that's why we, as teachers, need to support them, to help them find their strengths. And I will share the link how to find important strengths with you in the end. And we should support them to develop their self-confidence. And maybe we should not forget on self-compassion, which is important. Such a very simple advice. Treat yourself like your best friend would treat you. I heard this in one webinar by Daniel Goleman, who is a father of emotional intelligence, and I like this really very much. Treat yourself like your best friend would treat you. I like this. So there were like six elements or areas of happiness, but let's have a look more and let's talk about maybe simple things that we can start doing today to be happier, because all these things that we will talk about can make us, they are like these mosaics or puzzles that can make us happier. So because happiness is the process. And Dan Gilbert said this, that part of us believe that the new car is better because it lasts longer, but in fact that's the worst thing about the new car. And he advised us to not to invest in stuff, but invest instead more in experiences. Of course, it doesn't need to be something like a huge vacation, but also going to the concert, admire maybe nice paintings in a gallery, or eating out. Even so, we know now that it's not possible in most of our countries, but it will be soon. And still, I'm sure that you are creative and can think of the possible experiences. And why experiences? Because they don't last long time. And our mind, they don't have time then to get used to it. And in fact, we want stuff that goes away. And yes, and my question is, how do you drink your coffee? How do you drink your tea? Do you pay attention to it? Do you pay attention to the nice smell and taste? Do you really realize how great it is to have this moment of drinking coffee, for example? Or you just drink it without kind of celebrating this moment. So we often do this. We are often just let the good moments pass without even noticing them. It doesn't need to be coffee. Maybe you see a beautiful flower or a tree. You eat a piece of good chocolate, whatever. Savor those moments. So savoring, it's such a nice word, but it means that we attempt to fully enjoy, to fully feel these positive experiences. Intentionally, again, it's important, intentionally we realize that we have this nice experience. And so the question is, do we do this? I learned to do this every day. I do or savor something every day. And because there are a lot of there are a lot of like benefits of this savoring. So it's like savoring stops hedonic adaptation, yes, and also stops mind wandering and can increase gratitude. So you can savor the past, present, and even the future. And maybe it should be your task, and I will give you the plan in the end, to find every day something to practice savoring. It can be, of course, anything, like even when you have a shower or listening to music, really to enjoy, to be aware of this. And you need to really realize that moment, why it makes you happy, to appreciate it. Maybe you can take a photo of that moment to keep it for later. You can make your diary savoring. And then you can talk about this positive experience with other people, which then, of course, increases your happiness again. And this was very nice research. Sonia Lubomirsky, again, and her colleagues, they did research and asked students to replay their happy memories. And so they were asked to replay like 8 minutes a day for 3 days a week. And the exact instructions were like this. Yes, like rewinding a videotape and playing it back. And this simple exercise had really a huge effect on subjective well-being. So you can really practice savoring now. Maybe we can savor our past moments. So these all are pictures of my previous holidays or project partners meetings. So now I savor these past moments from time to time. And then we have power of gratitude. We know it. And there are so many things we should appreciate and be grateful for. And the question is whether we do it. We know, and it's natural, it's biological that our minds are attracted by negative things, by negative news. We focus on negative news, now even more maybe. But somehow we maybe tend to forget, or sometimes we take for granted that we have so many nice people around, maybe, that in fact our life is good. We just don't need, though, somehow maybe notice positive things. And again, we have to work on it intentionally. Yes. And it has shown that if you write just 5 things that you are grateful for once a week only, it will make you happy. And there is another thing. The research shows that if a manager appreciates the work of others, they tend to work harder, longer. They are more satisfied at work. So now maybe the question for you, if you did this with your students, would it have impact on their work? I'm sure, yes. So maybe another challenge for you for next days, write this like 5 or 10 minutes. Write down 5 things for which you are grateful. And really focus on it. Imagine that and be like mindful when you write this down. And what else can you do? Because this really gratitude is important. So maybe you can just sit when you have family dinner You can go around the table at home and take turns when you share one thing you are grateful for that day. You can do it at school too, like gratitude circle. I do it even now when we have this distance learning with my students. I ask them in the morning this question: what are they grateful for? Just one thing. You can ask students to appreciate others and teach them to do that. And other activities, this on birthdays, everyone shares maybe one gratitude for the birthday person. Or at school, you can put student's name on the large poster and ask everyone to write one gratitude on a like sticky note under each name. Or maybe you can keep a journal and write down things you are grateful for, and maybe write grateful or gratitude letters. Maybe pick one person who you are grateful for and write them a letter explaining why. And then also create an opportunity for your students to do the same. And maybe you can use kudos. Probably you know them already, because it's very popular now to send kudos, to appreciate somebody. This is the link to, it's like online, very easy creating kudos. These are cards. And this can increase really students' motivation and improve behavior. Important thing is that we have to focus on good things that students do, not trying to catch them doing wrong like we usually do. Catch them doing nice things for others, appreciate it, and encourage other students to be co-catchers in this. And okay. And so, what is important that avoid social comparison. And there is there are few techniques. The social comparison is really something that is very dangerous. And this one stop technique, it comes from cognitive behavioral therapy. And it is used to stop ruminating. So whenever you realize that your mind is looking maybe through the Facebook or Instagram feed, and you are envious about the awesome things of your friend, and maybe you think that, what a good life for the lucky man. And I'm here at home doing and nothing interesting. So notice yourself doing that and just say, maybe loud, stop it. So this is sometimes we have these thoughts, and just stop it and focus on something else. Another thing that you can do is practice gratitude. And gratitude is the killer of envy, because if our mind is in the state of gratitude, then we do less comparison. And then, of course, very important thing, curate the information you get. Control it. Or maybe you can just set time for social media, and you don't need to run to check every minute what is new. And yes, this is possible. We can curate really this information. And then, and I will share the link with you, in the end, signature strengths are the strengths that you are really good at and also recognized by others as well. And people who use 4 or more of their signature strengths at work have more positive work experience. And so maybe you should find your strengths to be more satisfied, and then support or enhance your well-being. where there is one very nice survey. Maybe some of you, if you took part in my previous well-being webinars, already have done it, but you will have the link in the end. Another strategy: find things or activities that give you a flow. This is well-known word already, but the father of the flow is he was Hungarian psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, who immigrated to the USA. And the flow is the mental state in which you perform an activity where you are fully immersed in a feeling of focus. You are really, there is like full involvement, and you enjoy it. And these are the main features of flow. It must be challenging, but really you are able to achieve the goals. That is important. Challenge, but it is attainable. And really, this activity, you have this intrinsic motivation to do it. So this is really very important, and flow is achieved when we do voluntarily something that is difficult and that is worth doing. And of course, activities that have interesting motivation help with achieving the flow. We can see this in little children, then they are fully concentrated, fully when they do something. We can maybe see it in musicians when they play, and you can do whatever around them, and they just don't see you because they are fully concentrated to something. And this is really something great if we achieve this. Now I'd like to talk maybe a bit about the grades at school, because it's sometimes for our students, they think that we will be happy if we have good grades. It is important how students get them. If we have external motivation, we work so that we get the rewards, or we don't get punishment. But if we have intrinsic motivation, we work because we like the activity. We like what we do. Unfortunately, the presence of external motivators has stolen intrinsic motivation. And more we focus on grades, less we have intrinsic motivation and the joy of learning. And also it has a negative impact on the growth mindset. Unfortunately, we have this at schools, but I'm sure that we can work on it. We can really do a lot to ignite this intrinsic motivation in our students. And of course, to support growth mindset. Growth mindset is really another source of happiness. And Carol Dweck came with this huge research, and she has this great book about growth mindset. And so growth mindset is the belief that basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. And we can do a lot with this with our students, and cultivate their growth mindset. And we know that it's possible just with such a simple thing like the praise. We should praise children's hard work, their effort, not results, not their talent. And so you can see these differences between fixed and growth. Of course, there is much more. And then research has shown that performing act of kindness provides really boost to happiness level. So perform at least one act of kindness every day. It doesn't need to be extreme. Just a very simple thing like smile at people you make you meet, or maybe give some advice to your colleague, or whatever. You can see now, here is, I like to go to this website, this Action by for Happiness, and they have every month they have action calendar, kindness, and this is great. Because and I like what they wrote in their blog, that one thing that can hold us together and help us get through difficult corona times is kindness. So also we can't change our situation, we can still choose how to respond to others, and we should do it with kindness, because when we are kind, everything goes better. So don't forget to be kind, and don't forget to be kind to yourself as well. And now, I don't know whether you've ever tried it, but would you believe that if you eat the same chocolate, it tastes better when you eat it not alone, but with other people around? Experiments show that it is true, because social connections are crucial for our happiness. Even introverts are happier when they are social. And so even something as simple as maybe just chatting to the man who sells you your coffee in the morning can boost your mood more than you would expect. There were lots of experiments with this. And maybe it would be great if you can make like connection, like meaningful connection, for example, deep conversation with your friend at least once a week, and smaller social connections for at least once a day. It could be like joking with your colleague maybe, or whatever. And then we know, of course, how important is not only meditation, but also mindfulness, because our minds are wandering, and we think about past, we are worried about future, and wandering mind is an unhappy mind. And meditation helps in controlling our mind. And there are, of course, many types of meditations, and here you can see this LKM, it is loving kindness meditation. It's popular self-care technique. So this one was suggested by Dan Goleman, author of this Emotional Intelligence, as I already told you. It means that you should sit comfortably, close your eyes, relax your muscles, take a few deep breaths, bring your mind to a person who helped you or was kind to you or who is close to you, and think of him and wish him or her, may he be safe, happy, healthy, may he has life fulfillment, may he thrive. And then do it for yourself. So think of you, may I be happy, and all these things. And then think of people everywhere. Extend your feelings of this kindness to people around the globe. And yes, the research shows that it makes people happier. Of course, for some people it's a bit wired to do, but you can still try mindfulness. Mindfulness is also a type of meditation where you focus on the present moment. You are aware of what you are sensing and feeling in the moment without any judgment. And it's quite easy because you can practice mindfulness anytime, anywhere. Of course, there are like the breathing methods, that your breath, a lot of exercises about that. But also, for example, if you go outside, walking outside, you can do mindful exercise. For example, focusing on your feet, on your legs, and really, or even when you eat anything or doing dishes even. So really it's about you can practice it anytime for how long you want. And of course we have there is important to have these healthy practices like exercise, because it not only increases happiness but improves cognitive performance. And when we exercise, it increases dopamine and endorphins and adrenaline, and these are brain chemicals that are associated with happiness. And also with feeling confident, we have less anxiety and stress. Unfortunately, of course, we know that in stress we lose concentration. Our memory is not working properly. We are not able to be creative even or open-minded. We lose empathy when we are in stressful environment. And if our students live in such environment, it has a huge impact on their cognitive skills and memory. And unfortunately, young people don't spend much time outside. They don't spend much time exercising. They spend most time with their PC or mobile phones, sitting somewhere. So it's not good. Somehow we should support this at school, these healthy practices. And also, of course, sleep. Lack of sleep increases negative thoughts and has impact on immunity and also memory. And this is positive emotions, of course, are important for our well-being. It doesn't mean that the negative ones are bad, we know it. All these four elements that you see are connected. When we feel tired, not fit, then our emotions are not positive. And our emotions then drive our thoughts, which in turn create behavior and lead to action. But we can influence our emotions by our thoughts. When you think about your nice experience, about your loved ones, it triggers feelings of joy and happiness. So we should understand how all these four elements work and how they are connected and how they work with us. And then we can have more control. So emotional intelligence is important to develop at schools as well. And maybe I would like to ask you, what is your favorite strategy to regulate your negative emotions and stress? So this is just some suggestions. Or all of these, but maybe this cognitive reappraisal, it means that we alter the way we think. And really, we replace our negative thoughts. So all these kind of strategies. And now we are going, of course, it's time to finish this. And I would like to just tell in the end that it's not enough to know what to do. It's important to start practicing it. So that we are ready to help our students also to work on their well-being. And we should have, or really have, like very specific goals, not just to exercise more than we will exercise more this month, but really when and how often, and really very specific, because then we can find a strategy how to do it. And then we have better performance, of course. And then I will just tell you about this. There is one step like visualization, because it's helpful to think about the outcome, of course, in a very detailed way, but also about some obstacles that might maybe get in your way. And so this is called mental contrasting. So that you visualize your positive future outcomes, but also you follow that up by thinking about what might be the things that get in your way. And of course, this is not enough without planning. And there is such a technique that if then, so like set of technique that it's like implementational intentions. So like when I am in a dining hall and I see the pizza, I will and I want to lose weight, I will turn away and grab the orange. So it is like automatic something. If I see this, then I do this. And it is the system that can then allow us to pay attention to what we really need to do. And to make it easier, we have this is the last slide from me. To make it easier to remember, the researchers have come up with this WOOP technique, which is an acronym for wish, outcome, obstacles, and plan. And so it's like, think about your wish, then the best outcome, potential obstacles, and then think of your if-then plan. So WOOP, and Angela Dagworth and colleagues tested these techniques on school children, and they had to pick a goal that was important to them, that was related to a schoolwork, and every day, every morning when they woke up, they had to think about this WOOP and the goal, and really improved students' outcome, also in terms of their grades and their school attendance. So I would like to, okay, I didn't give you this, but I need to put, because I will give you, and I will write you in the chat. I created this well-being plan for you, and you can go there, you can download. You have here this website, then test available, and you can discover your strengths. Then you have these possible actions to support your well-being, and then these stress maybe strategies, then your plan, and then your WOOP strategy. So if you go there, and I will give you, so then you can of course try to have your own plan. So thank you very much, and I hope that you can practice this somehow. I will stop now this, and I will try to find meanwhile why I will ask the questions if there are any. So thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Cornelia. I'm uploading again the presentation. I hope you can see it now. So thank you very much for your inspiring presentation, very much needed also given the current circumstances. There were a lot of positive comments in the chat, and thanks also for sharing the well-being plan you have created with all the participants here. And actually we had a couple of questions during your presentation. The first one was, is the pursuit of happiness the same for people who are extroverts, who have better social skills, opposite to those who are introverts? What is your opinion on this? How to help students with low social skills to work on their confidence and well-being?
Social connections. There was a research that was also concerning this. I mean, introverts and extroverts, and they both need social connections. But while extroverts need like more maybe connections, and they need many people to talk to, and so then introverts need less relationships, less like friends and people that they trust, but they really need to have people around. They also need this, and they need help to somehow develop these skills, how to reach people, how to start talking. They look for deeper connections more than extroverts, but still it it has shown that both introverts are happier when they have people, they have more social connections. So it's about skills, because sometimes that is a problem that they don't know how to. And sometimes we don't even pay attention to such maybe students in our classrooms, that we just, unfortunately, we pay more attention to those who are more extroverts, yes, because they are easier to deal with. And so, yes, introverts should maybe, or we should help them with this.
Thank you very much for answering. And maybe we can take another question that we had in the chat. Is it a true information that strong intuition is often wrong?
Sorry, again?
Is it a true information that a strong intuition is often wrong?
Intuition is wrong. That was the strong intuition is wrong.
Always. Yeah.
It doesn't mean always. Not always, but yes, very often it is wrong. And I would really recommend many. There are many examples of when our intuition is wrong. It is because like this fast thinking, or the system one is really very fast, and sometimes it's like saving energy. And we now, maybe I could give you many examples where we just think that this is right. We are persuaded that we are people who really think that we are rational people, but it is not true. This Daniel Kahneman, and then maybe you know Dan Ariely, it's another great, he's like economist, and they made many experiments with people. And after Dan Kahneman, he won Nobel Prize. He's Nobel Prize winner thanks to all these this book and all this explanation of how our brain works. And then psychologists and economists who were persuaded that we really are very rational people, they had to admit that it's not true, that our brain, but we don't even realize that we are mistaken so often.
Okay, thank you very much for answering also to that question. And the third one was how to have students find their intrinsic motivation.
Yes, that is the question. So it's intrinsic motivation. It comes when we offer them something that they have to explore. That they, for example, what I do very often, every year I give my students opportunity to do like a genius hour. So they can work on their activity, they can do something that they really enjoy, they can choose. We should give them much choices. Like I really use choice boards all the time for students. It means that they can choose the way how they will learn or how they will show me what they have learned. So it's up to them. It must be, if we give them more autonomy, then they will be more interested in doing that, and intrinsic motivation. For example, when we offer them like this active kind of learning, project-based learning, or this inquiry-based learning, these kind of things, because otherwise it's not interesting for them. So find a way, make them like the student agency to develop this, to support this. That is important for intrinsic motivation.
Thank you. And we have one more question, the last one actually. Could you please give us more detail about the hoop strategy? Maybe a practical example?
Oh, okay. So Whoop strategy. So it was like, for example, I want. It was connected with this. For example, that I want to do, I don't know, meditation. So first, I think about these my wish. I have this specific goal. For example, I want to be able to do meditations every day from, I don't know, 8 to 9. I want to achieve that that I will be able really to concentrate to I will do this meditation before sleep so that I can fall asleep without problems. And yes, have my place in my house when I will do this every day, maybe just for 30 minutes before my sleep. And then I will think of, yes, this positive thing that what will happen, yes, because now I have this problem. I work on this really, so that best outcome, yes, I will be able every day to fall asleep at 11 because with my mind not wandering all the time without any sleeping pills. So I imagine all this, but potential obstacles, yes. So I think of what I do very often, that there is maybe good film or TV program, or my husband who wants anything, or my I don't know who, and I imagine in myself. So if there is a film, I just switch. So it's like automatic. I try to find the alternative way. That if there is a TV program, I just shut the door and will not listen and will focus on my thing. If there is a husband, I will ask him this and this, if there is whatever. So I just think of my obstacles to do very automatically, just to stick with this plan. And that is the thing. For example, when you have your students that they want, now I have my daughter, she wants to lose the weight. That's why I mentioned this pizza. She wants to lose weight because she wants to study in my university. She wants to be fit, and she has this aim goal: in 3 months she wants to put off 10 kilos. And yes, best outcome, she imagines, she has even photos that of her outcome, how she should maybe what her appearance, what it should be like. And then she thinks of these all possible obstacles. There are a lot of them. She loves sweets, she loves whatever. So now she knows that we don't have any sugar, we don't have anything at home like that. And when somebody offers her something, she knows that if something if I have, I don't know, this pizza, I just grab instead of it, yes, orange. If there is whatever, friends invite me somewhere, then I have my raw, like something small with me so that I can eat. So like think of detailed things of obstacles and how to overcome them. That is like Whoop. Like wish, I have outcome, I have obstacles, and I really have these automatic things. But first, intentionally, I prepare for this. If then, that is the thing.
Great, thanks a lot. And actually, we are coming to the end, and it was a pleasure to meet you all virtually. And once again, thank you very much, Cornelia, for your excellent presentation and for answering all the questions posed
Thank
in the
you.
chat.
Yes.
We have one last practical information for the participant. If you could please complete the feedback form. Eleonora posted already the link in the chat, and make sure to save the link before we close the online seminar so you can complete it afterwards. Yes, Cornelia, you maybe wanted to add something to close.
Okay, so maybe I will just give you, there is also this strengths test, if you want, a direct link.
Yeah.
And
It would.
yes, I just wish you to be happytarians. to to know or to find, because it's very individual that we should find what makes. Of course there are some general things, but then there are many things that and it's like lifelong process, not only like we don't find happiness, we have to create it. That is problem. that is our job, to create our happiness, not to find it.
Thank you very much. Are you going to share the
I
link
already did.
in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot. Sorry, I just missed it. Perfect. So I wish you all a good evening, and the only thing I can say, I think, is take care of your well-being.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Bye bye.